Hey everybody, I'm Miss Hannah from the Highland Park Public Library, and welcome to Library in Your Living Room. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's program, Backyard Safari, Reptiles and Amphibians Edition. So it is finally starting to get warm outside, and springtime is a really great time to look for reptiles and amphibians. Today I'm going to show you 10 different reptiles and amphibians that you can find all around Highland Park and Lake County. So before we get started, I have some tips and tricks for you to make your safari more successful. First, to find animals, you need to be alert and use your senses. You can use your ears to listen for rustling leaves and snapping branches. Those are good signs that there are animals nearby trying to run away from you. Also, try watching for quick movements. Animals do not like being around people. And if you see something really fast out of the corner of your eye, that's probably an animal trying to run away. Some great places to look for reptiles and amphibians include underneath rocks, logs, and leaf piles. They really like those cool, dark places, so those are all really great spots to look. This is a really important safety tip. Don't put your hands where you can't see. Don't stick your hands in a leaf pile if you don't know what's going on underneath. Don't put your whole arm into a hole, because if there's an animal underneath those leaves or in that hole, they're going to try to bite you, and that's not good. What you can do instead is use a stick to kind of move leaves out of the way or poke gently in the hole and try to coax animals out. Next tip, when you're all done looking at an animal, leave it in its habitat. I know it's really tempting to bring an animal home and make it your new pet, but these are wild animals and they do belong in the wild. When you're all done looking at animals, make sure that you put the rocks and the logs back the way that you found them. It's really important to remember that these habitats are the animals' homes, and we want the homes to look the way that we found them. And last but certainly not least, be sure to wash your hands when you come back from safari, because you'll probably be covered in dirt and leaves and all kinds of gross stuff, so be sure to wash your hands. All right, our first animal is the Woodhouse's toad, scientific name Bufo woodhousei. So this animal is nocturnal. You can find them at night looking for bugs. During the daytime, they live in burrows. So your best bet for finding a Woodhouse's toad is probably at nighttime when it goes out to find bugs to eat. Up next, we've got the American toad, scientific name Bufo americanus. These are more active during the day than Woodhouse's toad, and they're a bit easier to find. They are super common, and you can find them near ponds. You can find them in the woods near stick piles. Those are some good spots to look. This little guy is the spring peeper, scientific name Hyla crucifer. It is a very tiny frog. It's about the size of a quarter. They're nocturnal, so active at night. You can find them in woody areas and marshes, and they're active pretty much as soon as spring starts, so now is the perfect time to look for some spring peepers. Up next is the wood frog, scientific name Rama sylvatica. So this guy is diurnal, which means they're more active during the day. You can find them in spring, but they're more easily found in the summertime because they sort of venture out farther away from the water and toward the woody areas. And these guys are very tough. They can survive as far north as the Arctic Circle. So these are some very tough amphibians that can, survive some really harsh temperatures. Oh, this guy is really cool. This is the Western Slender Glass Lizard. Its scientific name is Ophisaurus attenuatus. And as you can see from the picture, it's a lizard, but it doesn't have legs. One thing that I learned doing my research is, yeah, there are legless lizards out there. And this lizard has a really cool defense mechanism too. So when a predator grabs the glass lizard by its tail, the tail will actually break off, and then the lizard can slither away and escape from the predator. So it's a very excellent defense mechanism. This is another kind of lizard. It's called a five-lined skink. Its scientific name is eumecess fasciatus. And a skink is just a lizard that has short legs or no legs at all. The five-lined skink is commonly found in woodlands. You can find them underneath leaves, rocks, or logs. So, be sure to flip over logs and dig through leaf piles to try and find them. And these guys are actually becoming more rare in Lake County. They're listed as an animal of special concern, which means that they're in danger of becoming endangered. So if you find a five-lined skink in the wild, be sure to be nice to it. These are probably my favorite animals to look for. This is a blue-spotted salamander. Its scientific name is ambystoma laterale. They are active during the spring and summer, and they come out as early as March. They're easiest to find after it rains because salamanders really like the wet weather. You can find them underneath rocks and underneath logs, so be sure you're flipping that stuff over, and then if you don't find anything, flip them back. And you can also find blue-spotted salamanders in window wells in your house sometimes, so that's another good spot to look, is near your house. This is a salamander that lives all in the water. So this is called a mudpuppy, scientific name necturus maculosus. They are nocturnal, so they're active mostly at night. They like to live in cold water, and the colder the water is, the closer they'll move to the shore. So you'll want to try on a very cold day to sort of look near the shoreline for mud puppies, and you can find them underneath rocks mostly, so be sure to be flipping over those rocks. All right, so our last two animals are snakes. This first animal is a bullsnake. Its scientific name is Ptuphis melanoleucus. These snakes are one of the biggest snakes in the United States. They can get from 4 to 6 feet long usually, so taller than you or me, and some of them have been as long as 8 feet, so they can get really, really big. If you find one in the wild, they might try to bite you, but the good news is bull snakes are not poisonous. So they don't have venom, and if they bite you, you're not going to be poisoned. This is another type of snake. It's called the garter snake. Its scientific name is thamnophis sirtalis. And these are very common. I actually saw a couple snakes just this past weekend, so they're easy to find in the springtime. They're very active this time of year from March to May, and they're a lot smaller than a bull snake, but they're still really cool to find. If you want to learn more about animals and about exploring with animals, we have some really great resources at the library. A database that I really like when I want to learn about animals is National Geographic Kids. And they have some really great articles and photos of all kinds of animals, from teeny tiny bugs all the way up to whales. We also have some really good ebooks available from the Digital Library of Illinois and the Libby app. So these are just 3 that I picked out. One is The Secret Lives of Backyard Bugs. We've got Girls Who Looked Under Rocks and Lesser Spotted Animals. So if you're interested in animals and looking for them outside, these are some really great places to learn more. So that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check our website, hplibrary.org, for upcoming library in your living room programs. Until next time, stay safe and wash your hands.